Business Connections Live, the UK's leading online business channel. This is Business Connections Live with Steve Hyland.
Hello there, welcome along. This is Business Connections Live, the program for entrepreneurs, SMEs and business owners. Now, joining me in the studio today is Steve Mills, an old friend of the program, in fact, joining us once again on the show. And today we're going to be talking about how to create and publish an online training course. So why are we talking about that? Well, the reason we're talking about that is this is a great way for your business to have a passive income. If you're a one-man band, if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're a small company, what a great way of getting your knowledge out there and then monetizing it. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about some of the different platforms that are available for you to use. One in particular that we're going to be talking about that seems to be the premier or the premium. No, it's Premier, the Premier one from all the different platforms that you can put your shared content on. So let's kick off. Steve, great to have you back.
Great to be back, Steve, and thank you for inviting me.
So let's put to bed, first of all, Steve Mills, a bit of a rebrand for you.
Yes,
for those people
indeed.
who don't know who Steve Mills is and what you do, just let us know.
Okay, so I run a business advising people in how to market their business. We also offer sort of like a done-for-you type service, and we provide lots of training in sales and marketing, and basically to try and help people to grow their business.
And why have you gone down this route? Because I know you've done a lot of classroom training. You go out and you do the consultation. You've got a team of people working for you. But why are you looking at this particular area? Is it because we're both getting old?
I'm not sure about that, Steve. It may be the fact, but I'm not sure that that's the motivation.
We are definitely both getting old.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, you know, for 25 years now, I've been out there in the field, you know, running training courses and advising people and so on. And essentially, that's all about, in my industry anyway, exchanging time for money. You know, I go to somewhere and I do some work and people pay me, and then I go away and then I go somewhere else and so on and so forth. But these days, you know, there are fantastic opportunities using the internet and these online membership websites where I can take my years of experience, I can upload that experience into video, turn it into an online program, and then, as you suggested in your intro, benefit for that for literally ever. So I'm earning money literally while I sleep, having done the work in the past, and people can buy into my training literally from all over the world. And so that's why I did it.
A lot of people have the worry that they don't have that training course. It's a bit like saying there's a book in everybody.
Sure.
But is there a training course in everybody?
I think there is almost anybody, yeah. You know, it's very easy to think, you know, if there are people watching who are trainers, advisors, consultants, people like that, they can easily turn their expertise into an online training program. But I think you need to sort of look a little bit outside the box and think, you know, if you're a chef, could you take your skills and expertise and demonstrate it online and train people in how to cook as good as you? If you're a landscape gardener, could you teach your expertise to people all over the world? And so I think it applies to almost, I think, any industry, certainly any industry where someone's got a whole load of experience and expertise that they feel that they can teach that to people online.
Does it? I mean, you're saying that you go out and you've been doing training for a number of years.
Sure.
Is there a danger? Is there a feeling that you have that if I put it all online, people will stop coming to my live training courses, and because they can actually go for a one-off hit and they can see it online? Is there a danger of that, or are the two very, very different with different audiences?
Well, I think there's a danger of that to a limited extent. You take my courses, for example, people tend, I know through research, people tend to travel to me no more than about 2 hours. So if I'm running a workshop in Birmingham, within a 2-hour distance, people will come along to my workshop. They're not going to travel for a day's workshop from Australia or from China or from anywhere else in the world, probably. And so I'm able to now tap into that market by delivering my training, as I said, online while I sleep, 24/7. And I think also from a point of view of people taking part in the training, they don't have to travel, halfway across the country, or, they don't have to do it at the time when it's convenient to me, but rather they can train themselves in small chunks, in the evenings, at weekends, or, early in the morning, whenever's suitable to them to implement that training. And I think one other real big advantage of it is, we've all been on training, I'm sure, Steve, where, you go and you think, oh, wow, that was a great day, I really enjoyed it. And then you get back to work, you get busy, and 2 weeks later you've done very little, and you can't actually remember hardly anything that you've learnt on the day. Whereas obviously with online training, you can just go back and relearn it again and again and again.
There is this whole thing actually about training. When you go on training courses, you can tell everybody to do exactly a process to either make money, to be more successful, to use their LinkedIn better, whatever it's going to be.
Sure.
And you'll tell 100 people in that room, and only one of them perhaps will go away and do anything with that information.
It's one of the things that frustrates me most about what I do. I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I really do. But if I run a LinkedIn workshop, which I know I've been on the program talking about before, and I phone up, oh, how's it going? 3 weeks later, how's it going? And they go, well, I've been busy. No, I've not. No, I've done nothing, Steve. It's just a waste of their time, and I hate that for people. And but we just try to keep pushing. And this is another opportunity, I think.
Now, we've mentioned about different platforms to do this on. Some people will say, well, if I want to do a training course, if I'm going to do it using video, what I'll do is I'll knock up a whole series of different videos. I'll plant them on my website, and I'll do a membership area around there, and I'll collect the money. Yeah. Is that what turns a lot of people off, the mechanics of doing all of that?
I think it's actually understanding how to do it. It's not difficult, but if you don't have the skills, if you don't know what to do and how to do it, then that is an issue. I mean, when I first started doing this, I used to just send out I've got a membership program which people get a weekly video, and I started off just literally emailing them a link to the YouTube video that was on YouTube, that was hidden on YouTube, so people couldn't see it. So I was doing it in a very basic way, but still was successful with it. But I recently decided to take it to another level, and if we're going to do this, Steve, then let's do it professionally. So I've started using one of the many different online.
Well, there are a few
sites
out there. The ones that I've come across, well, the one that I've looked at is Teachables. Of course, there's Udemy, which is a very basic system. You can put a course together. You can go on to Udemy. Udemy's got a funny repayment system, a reward system for the creators.
Indeed.
And what they do is they tend to say, look, the people that are coming to your training course are ours, so therefore we'll give you a smaller percentage of your take. Teachables, another one of these platforms where there are different levels of how much you pay them. The more you pay them, the more money you make from your subscriptions. And then you've got probably the daddy of them all. Was it Kajabi, isn't it?
Kajabi, yeah.
Kajabi.
Yeah.
And Kajabi's very different, isn't it? Because that's an upfront cost.
Yeah.
And
monthly.
Oh, it's monthly cost, but it is quite an expensive.
It is
monthly cost. Whereas you're looking at Teachables, you maybe, well, there's a free one on Teachables, but when you start looking, it is £100 a month.
Yeah.
And that's effectively what you're paying for Kajabi, isn't it?
Absolutely it is, yeah.
What attracted you to Kajabi, and why use Kajabi and not use your own website? Okay,
I think a couple of things. I love things that are simple.
That's why we get on so well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but let's make it. I often say to people, if I can do it, then anybody can do it. Because I'm not a technical person. I'm not a web designer and so on and so forth. But if it's something that I can do, then my belief is anybody can do it. and that was one of the big reasons. The other reason, I think, is just around the professionalism and actually ease and speed of doing it. It's easy to use, it looks great. Yes, there's a cost, you know, but like all things marketing, it's not about the cost, it's about the return on investment. You know, £100 a month, but if you're making 20 grand a month from it, then what's the problem? I'll be clear, I'm not making that yet, but I'm working towards that.
But there are people out there that are.
Oh, there are. Yeah, without a doubt.
How diverse are the different things that people are doing using any of these platforms, Kajabi, whatever? How diverse are the courses that they run?
Well, I almost think that, you know, anything that you can teach could be taught on there. There's a gentleman whose name I can't actually remember at the moment, but it may come to me in a second, who's a chef, and he's taken his own brand of, he calls it cooking without cooking. So in other words, he cooks or provides raw food. So that's his speciality. He's a chef in the provision of raw food. Now, he's taken his expertise, he's obviously got several restaurants and so on and so forth, and he's put it online, and he's now making apparently over 50 grand a month from his online thing, and he, you know, he'll never have to touch that. His job now is to obviously drive traffic to the site. Hopefully a percentage of that's going to convert, and his job is basically to count the money for the next 20 years.
The thing is, you hear that a lot, and you do start thinking to yourself, is that the clickbait of everything, isn't it? Is that the thing that's going to, he's making 50,000, so can I, on woodworking. It must be easy to be done. Here we're going to be talking about some live food preparation. Come over here. Today we're talking about lamb. That's not going to be the case, though, is it?
No. Do you know what? So it's tough to do, Steve. You know, it sounds great, it sounds easy. You know, produce some videos, upload them, write a bit of text, and get the website. You know, it's not easy. I want to be really clear on that.
All right, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the process very shortly. We've got some good points that we're going to be highlighting as well. Looking at the automation, how you actually effectively get a membership site, the production of the videos as well. Steve's a big fan of videos. He does one every week. They're okay. Selling and marketing your online products as well. Okay, he's still talking to me, so everything's fine. So that's still to come on this edition of Business Connections Live. Let's look back at last week's edition of the programme. We had a cracking show last week, something that will resonate with you. We had Philip Calvert on the programme. He is a LinkedIn marketeer and an expert, and some good advice. In fact, if you get an opportunity, watch his programme and then also watch Steve's programmes. Things move along with LinkedIn on a regular basis. Do you think LinkedIn's getting better and better and better, or is it sitting in the doldrums? Is it changing too much?
It's changing. I think there's a couple of things that I'm not quite. I don't know. I don't think were good ideas, but the vast majority of it is yes. It's improved a lot since I was on the programme talking about. So
we'll have to get you back on the show again as well, talking about LinkedIn. Anyway, let's look back at what happened on last week's edition of Business Connections Live. If you're using LinkedIn to market your business, to get some new prospects, if you're prospecting and using LinkedIn, how's the best way to go about it? What should you be doing? What are the key things you should be looking at? Do you need premium? Can you do it on the free version? All of those things were covered on last week's programme, but to give you a bit of a taster, here's Phil Calvert on last week's edition of Business Connections Live. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about how LinkedIn can be indispensable to your business. Got a great guest today. Joining me in the studio today is Philip Calvert. He's an international speaker and author, and also a LinkedIn strategist as well.
Wherever I go, every audience I speak to, when I say, put your hands up if you're on LinkedIn, everyone puts their hands up. Then I say, now put your hands up if you know why you're on LinkedIn, and people go, not really quite sure. But as soon as you've got a clear view of why you're on LinkedIn, then it all comes to life. If you're on LinkedIn, you're marketing yourself. In one way, shape or another, you're marketing yourself. And if you are not receiving inquiries for your services or your advice or your expertise out of the blue from complete strangers, then you're not marketing yourself as well as you should do. Now, what a lot of people forget, and this runs right across all social media, There is this perception that just being on Facebook or just being on LinkedIn or any of the other tools will by rights get you business. You actually have to work at it. In terms of premium versus the free version of LinkedIn, I have premium for one reason and one reason alone, and that's so I can see the full list of people who look at my profile. First school of thought is you are very focused. You only connect with people that you feel you could help, or you feel there's really something there. You'll just instinctively know it. The other school of thought is you connect with everybody and everybody. And now I fall into the latter because I will connect with everybody except for obvious spammers. Nobody ever visits your LinkedIn profile by accident. They always do it on purpose. And this is one thing I always urge people to do, is to know their numbers when it comes to LinkedIn. And if the numbers are going up, then it means you're conducting yourself and you're using LinkedIn in a way that is attracting more people to you. If the numbers are going down, it means, just like in any other internet marketing, you need to do a bit of split testing and a bit of tweaking. If you haven't got a LinkedIn photo, you might as well not be on the site. It's as simple as that. So friendly and professional, but we don't want Christmas hats. We don't want barbecues on the beach. And I've got a lovely collection of LinkedIn profile photos. And I see people wearing Batman outfits. I've seen people in swimming pools. You name it, I've seen it. They're great fun. The words you use on your profile and how you set them out and the words you use when you connect with people are very, very important as well. So bullet points right up front are really, really important. Just get the key points down. And if they answer a question or they allude to a problem that the viewer has got, they're going to read some more. It's as simple as that. To me, the single most valuable feature on LinkedIn is the who viewed my profile. Because let's put it this way, if you have a website, wouldn't it be great if you knew the names and contact details of everybody who visited your website? Now, that's quite difficult to actually do, but if on LinkedIn, they're actually showing you who's visited your profile. You should look at that as valuable data, and then the best part about this is that we can then get in touch with these people and say to them, thanks for looking at my profile today, John or Sue, hope something caught your eye. And try and get a conversation going. Well, the key takeaways. First of all, my name is Phil Calvert. I'm a speaker and a strategist on LinkedIn, and I help businesses to get more leads, whether that's on the free version of LinkedIn or the premium version. The key takeaways that I would really recommend people do is, first of all, spend some time thinking about why are you on LinkedIn. Most people dabble around a bit and they don't really have a clear view of what they want to achieve. So spend some time on that, don't skimp on it, but write down why you're on LinkedIn and what you want to achieve. Next thing you need to do is to fully complete your profile. And that means spending possibly a couple of hours on it and regularly tweak it. Think about those keywords as well. What do you want to be known for? If someone's typing into the search box on LinkedIn, we want to make sure that you come out top of the list. So really think about that. And I think the third takeaway, really, really important, this one, is to treat LinkedIn as though you're talking to people, human beings in the real world. Don't look at LinkedIn and indeed other social media as some kind of shortcut that will do your work for you. So when you're connecting with people, always use their name. Always look at their profile, see if you can find something that you've got in common with them, whether it's a personal interest, maybe it's some mutual connections, maybe it's somewhere that you used to work. Refer to that always. And what I tend to find is when I personalize the message and when I refer to something that we've got in common, my acceptance rate that I get on connection requests it's almost 100%. So those are my key takeaways, and I really hope you find them useful.
Philip Calvert on the programme, not last week, but the week before. We had a bit of a break last week. In fact, is that 2 weeks ago? We've had a little bit of a break just to get our energy back together again. I think we were out filming last Monday as well, which was a bit of fun. So last week was the bank holiday where we had the terrific weather, and the week before that we were out filming, and just goes to show you we're a busy old company here. Philip Calvert there. I know his brother John, so to both the Calverts, hello and thank you for watching Business Connections Live. Great show on LinkedIn, and Steve really agreeing with many of the things, well, nearly all the things, in fact, that Philip was saying on that. Really do start, look at your profile, get those keywords in there, get them included into everything that you do. Respond to people when they respond to you. Look at who's been looking at your website or looking at your LinkedIn profile and get back to them. And get back to them with something that is tangible. Steve was telling me that what he does is that he very quickly will drive people to some form of video content so they can see who they're dealing with. They get that kind of respect, that gravitas from the content that he is sending there, and they get a kind of a feel for who you are. And it's exactly what Philip was saying on the program as well. Hey, don't forget, if you want to get in contact with the program today, you can do that. It's very easy. You can always drop us an email, of course, to studio@businessconnectionslive.com. If you want to have a chat with us about the program or anything that you hear, well, then give us a call on this telephone number, 01784 256 777. You can follow our stream of consciousness. You can have questions on there today if you wish at BCL Business TV. You can find the program as well on our Facebook page. We're looking into doing more on Facebook. I was just talking to Steve about how powerful Facebook is. And also you can go to our website at Business Connections Live and you can see everything that we do there. Also, if you get an opportunity, check out Retail Therapy Television too, because that shows information about studio and training and everything like that. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company as always. My guest on today's show is Steve Mills. Used to be, now I'm not going to even say it.
You're allowed to say it.
I'm allowed to say it. You used to be the prudent marketer.
I did, yeah.
Why the change in name?
When we came up with the concept of prudent marketing, it was around about 2007, 2008. And as we all know, that was a time where we all needed to be very, very prudent in terms of our business, getting the best return on investment and so on and so forth. And I just sort of feel that now is the time, you know, we've done that for 10 years. We've been marketing ourselves and we're talking about prudent marketing. I just felt that, you know, now is the time to sort of move on and sort of drop the name of the prudent marketer and just be Steve Mills, just be me.
Just be who you are.
Who you are, yes.
If you want to find Steve's website, you can go to it. It is on my machine, stevemills.co, and it'll take you through everything there. You got resources, free results meeting, more results, media about me, event tickets, and the newsletter that you can sign up for. Nice, clean design to the website, explaining about the online marketing, the association results program, how to grow your business. Lots of video, lots of content on Steve's site. Steve is one of these guys that gives a lot of information away, and all you've got to do then is sell your children, and he'll come and sort your business out for you. Let's move away from the conventional website,
okay,
and let's talk a little bit about an online product-based website.
Okay.
Have you got one of those that you can show us?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, by all means. So here we've got my LinkedIn online course. So you can see here we've got a training course that's divided into sections. There's the sort of introduction to it, your vision, your objectives, a little bit about me, a welcome to the course for people. Then we go into Unit 1, which is all about looking good on LinkedIn, crowd development and getting more contacts and so on and so forth. And this is actually a 6-unit program. So you can see here that most of the units are 2 or 3 videos. If I just click on one of them here and just give you an example of what that actually looks like. So here we've got a video. If I clicked on that, that would automatically start playing, and then down here we've got some information about this particular element, and then when people have finished it, they mark that as complete, and off they go, and click back to the next sort of element. So it's one of the things I like about this from a user point of view, because I've obviously done lots of online training myself, is that you can go back and you can do it at your own pace. You know, you can work your way through this in one day, or you can do one video per day, which takes about 15 minutes. And so that essentially is my version using Kajabi of my first online program.
So tell us a little bit about Kajabi then. Is it difficult? I know it's got a high price tag initially.
Yeah.
It's effectively £1,000 a year or £100 per month.
Yeah.
Is what you're going to be paying to use it. There are other platforms, of course, out there. What about? So why choose Kajabi?
I think just because I thought it was professional and easy to use. It's also speaking to some of the leading lights in this particular industry, some of the people who I know have made significant amounts of money and continue to do so every month. That's what they use. I've always believed, if you're going to be successful, know what you want, take action, find somebody who's got what you want, do the same thing. Yeah, copy. Do the same things and I like to call it adapting, Steve. Adapting.
Repurposing.
Adapting best practice, not necessarily copying. But yeah, if that's what they use, these guys who are making 50, 100 grand a year, a month, then why not do it the same way?
There is an elephant in the room with all of this, in as much as you can create the best mousetrap, but people aren't going to beat a path to your door. So when it comes to the marketing of this, it's interesting. I've looked at the Teachables platform, and there it is all about marketing to your existing customer database. That's who you're selling to.
Absolutely.
Do any of these platforms help you create your tribe?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Kajabi has a built-in website. And again, really easy to build.
So this could replace your existing website?
It could if you set up a business just to do the online training, then yes. If you were selling other things, then yeah, you probably still could do that actually. But essentially, it's about promoting your online training. But it does that, and then it does the email marketing and so on. So it's an all-in-one sort of product.
So when you say it does the email marketing, I know you are a man that uses Infusionsoft.
Yes.
How does it differ? What do you get in Kajabi that could replace bits of Infusionsoft? Say you don't have Infusionsoft, which, if you're not familiar, is in my mind's eye, quite a complicated CRM system. As a customer relationship
complex, definitely. Yes. Yeah. Infusionsoft's very complex, very in depth. It does lots of things, but like lots of things that are really good, it's more complicated. Some people call it Confusionsoft, which is a little bit harsh, but it is more complex. So Kajabi's much simpler. It's easier, but it's not as sophisticated. Because I've been using Infusionsoft for many, many years, I still use Infusionsoft, and I've linked it together with Zapier so that the two speak to each other, so that when somebody signs up to one of my programs on Kajabi, they automatically get added into Infusionsoft, which automatically sends them an email welcoming them, and then automatically a week later sends them a follow-up, how you doing, that type of thing. So it's a way, the two things do work together.
A question for you is, what is Zapier?
Zapier is a way of linking software together. So I'll give you an example. I've got my Infusionsoft linked to Xero, which is my accountancy software, via Zapier. And so that when somebody buys something on my system and gets added into Infusionsoft, it also goes through to Xero and automatically sends them the invoice. So ask me how it works.
So
Steve.
it's a way for the programs to communicate with each other and to integrate
with loads and loads of different, hundreds and hundreds of different softwares. It allows them to speak together.
So then, I suppose the next question, so we've got the website, we've talked a little bit about automation. How do you go, and going back to this topic again, how do you grow your audience for this? How do you let people know? Do you market on LinkedIn?
Yep.
Do you use LinkedIn ads? Do you market on Facebook? Do you use Facebook ads? Do you market to your friends and family? I mean, who are you marketing to? And we live in this, lots of questions all in one go, but it's a big answer. We live in this world of vanity of numbers. So do we have to have a huge number of people for this to work?
Okay. The answer is yes and no.
Thank you.
That was a quick answer, wasn't it? No, seriously. I use all those things. I've always believed, I think one of the biggest problems that I see in small business is the word obscurity. Nobody's ever heard of us. They've all
Any
heard,
of us?
Well, yeah, to some extent,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're heard of, I'm heard of.
But in certain silos.
Yeah, we've got a very small world. And I think our objective as small business owners is to expand that world. I want to be world famous. I want to be like, Nike or Apple, so that in my industry, when people come to, marketing, business advice, I want to get me to that level. My aim is to help as many small businesses as I can. And I can't help them if they haven't heard of me. And so, when I hear people talking about, well, Facebook's not for business, and I hear people on LinkedIn say, well, I don't want to overdo it, so I post on there once a week. Once a week ain't going to do it for you. You've got to be there. You've got to take massive action. My background in table tennis. If you go and practice once a week, you ain't going to get to the level that you want, or I wanted to get to. You got to be there every day doing lots of this stuff. And so, yeah, it's probably gathering my voice. I'm very passionate about it, but really believe that people way underdo the amount of time, money and effort that they put into marketing. So I do all of the above that you just mentioned. I'm using email. I send people emails 2-3 times a week. People go, what? 2-3 times a week? We send a quarterly newsletter out. I said, well, do you win business? They go, well, no. So I'm marketing this program now on a very regular basis. Now, one of the keys, and you mentioned that kindly on my website, is my website's full of information. So what I'm not doing is going, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? I'm going, here's some great advice. Here's more great advice. Here's more great advice. And then when I get people to a level, having nurtured, I then start looking at what I can maybe introduce as a paid product. And this is a great one, this idea of an online thing. They can sign up for this for, just a few pounds. I mean, the LinkedIn one's £99, and, it's all about return on investment, which could easily be 50 grand plus.
So when you do a course like that, and you're looking at the way the payment way,
yeah.
When you look at Teachables, for instance, they have a number you can either pay monthly.
Yeah.
To a fee, or you can pay in one hit but in installments,
yeah.
Or you can they also give options where you can have a fee that would be for the course, and then the plus version, which will be the course plus some time with you, or the person who's put the course together.
Yeah.
Do you get that flexibility?
You do.
In the likes of Kajabi as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You can set the payments up to be 3 monthly payments. I'm just taking my association, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, was the weekly emailed video, turning that into an online program. And what Kajabi will do with that is to drip feed the video every week. So when you start off, you sign up, you pay the £30 a month to be a member, you get the first video. A week later you get the second video. After that, the week later you get the third video, and so on and so forth. So and it fully automates that and sends people an email saying, just to let you know, this week's video's live now. You can go and have a look at that, and people go in. And it also enables you to do things like add check sheets and things like that. So, like a tips thing, or a document, in other words, that, I can add
I suppose the thing is, isn't it, that people are worried. Well, they're not worried. People don't realise just how much work there is to create something that is dynamic as that. Yeah.
There's a lot of work up front, but then once it's created, apart from updating it, this, for example, my LinkedIn one, when LinkedIn change, as we know it does, I'll need to change the videos over to make sure it's constantly up to date. But essentially, once it's done, there's zero amount of work. It's doing the work up front and then benefiting from it. I'm hoping that I'm going to be earning money when I'm 75, you know, in many, many years, Steve, obviously.
Right.
You know, and this program will still be going. It will still be earning me money every month. People will be paying to be on my association. I get a little bit of money every month. Well,
I'll tell you what,
Okay.
hold the thought for a moment, because one of the questions I'm also going to ask you as well, do you think there's brand loyalty in this? Are you selling, is it commoditized, the training? Are you selling Steve Mills at this point, or are you selling a piece of freestanding training and they don't care where it comes from because it's answering their problem? That's a question for you to think about.
Okay.
All right, so that's still to come. The other question I want to find out is that vanity by numbers thing as well. I was talking to a guy called Mike Blissett, who also uses Kajabi, and he started doing his training. He built his audience using Facebook, and he kind of did it not in a deliberate way. He did it as a beta trial, really, to see if anything could be done. All of a sudden, he's got a very successful training course now running on Kajabi. He said he actually had Kajabi for a year, never used it.
Right.
And then he thought, what am I going to do? Am I going to cancel this, or am I going to go do something with it?
Yeah.
And he thought, well, for the hell of it, I'm going to do something with it.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting. More from Steve Mills in just a moment on this edition of Business Connections Live. Now, online marketing, it kind of ties in nicely with what we're talking about. Your online marketing, is it an expense or is it an investment? Some while back, we had Michael Nagels on the program. He's an online marketing consultant, and he was talking about the whole question of whether it is an investment. He's from Strowther Marketing Solutions, and he asked the questions, are you investing or is it just costing you money when it comes to your marketing? Have a look at this. Michael Nagels on Business Connections Live.
The most important thing, as I said this evening, is maintain ownership. That's the biggest problem I help people solve. Don't let somebody else own your domain. Don't let somebody else have unlimited or uncooperative access to your website server, your web hosting service, or anything like that. There are a lot of people that are very skilled at these things, and you do need their help, but you should hold the keys to the kingdom. When it comes to networking, the most important thing to remember is it's part of your job. It's part of your business growth plan. It's part of your marketing. The thing to remember is that when you go to these meetings, they are serious business, but you should also have a lot of fun. Don't join an organization that you can't have fun at, because it is work and you want to have fun at work. Build good relationships, do what you say you'll do, and get as involved as you possibly can, because the more involved you are, the higher your visibility is going to be. So if you're a part of an organization like For Networking that offers team roles, join a team role. You don't do it to make For Networking bigger, you do it to make your business bigger. For Networking offers what they call a foresight opportunity. If you're a member, you can present for 20 minutes at every meeting, or at a meeting where you're booked in to present, on elements of your business that improve your credibility within For Networking. It's not meant to be a sales pitch. It's meant to be informational or educational. Take advantage of those. It's an opportunity for you to stand up in front of a crowd and present yourself.
Great show, actually. Michael Nagels, that's from quite some time back. 2015, Michael was on the program. I think program, was it 67, 69, something like that. A great show from Michael, and Michael currently involved very heavily with the For Networking organisation. He's going around the country and he's working with the likes of the lovely Brad Burton, who I spoke to, albeit via social media last week, but he's going to be coming back on the program very shortly as well. So that'll be always a good show. We'll see if he's still in his T-shirts and that. Michael Nagels said, if you want to check him out, of course, you can go to the website at businessconnectionslive.com. There's over 300 hours worth of great content there for you to sit and peruse your way through. Actually, it's interesting because the programs do go back 3 or 4 years now. Ralston just popped in while that was playing. He says that is always an issue, isn't it, with training?
It is.
In as much as it goes out of date.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, what do you do? What do you do about that?
Well, it's a problem. I mean, when I first started producing this type of stuff, it was on DVD. So I spent a load of money, a load of time producing all these DVDs, and then LinkedIn changed their profile. And so all the DVDs literally had to be thrown away because it was no longer current. So that, in a way, is one of the benefits of doing it online. If LinkedIn changed tomorrow, by tomorrow afternoon, I can have the updated profile or updated information, or something new becomes available, I can just do the video and explain how to do it.
Do you need big numbers to do this when it comes to the people that you're marketing to? I remember you telling me that with GDPR just around the corner, you had a process, and at one stage you had a huge database that you were marketing to. And then you put some criteria, some rules in there, and the database came right down. But realistically, do you need a database of thousands to achieve this with, or will just a couple of hundred core viewers actually get you on your way?
I think it comes back to what you said a few minutes ago, Steve, that, you know, your best chance of selling anything is to sell it to somebody who you already sell it to, or that you've sold it to in the past. That's your best list. So that's where to start, I think. And I think that, you know, as time goes by, you should be working on growing that database. You know, I call it crowd development. You know, you want to get your name out to as many people as you can. But the truth of the matter is it really depends on what is your objective. You know, is it to make 100 grand a month out of something like this, or is it just for it to be an additional service? So it really depends on your overall objective as to how big a crowd you need. My goal has always been, as I mentioned, to try and trying to help as many business owners as I can. I want to be providing a marketing service in Australia and Singapore and, you know, Vietnam and wherever else in the world, and, you know, I can do it through this system. And I think that's, so it depends, number one, what is your goal for it? I think also there's an added benefit. If you look at somebody who's got expertise in something, you know, there's, generally speaking, there's a lot of them around. You know, there's a lot of accountants, there's a lot of marketing advisors, there's even a lot of, you know, landscape gardeners. But if you've got somebody who's produced an online program and they're marketing that program, there's a perception, I believe, I don't know what you think on this, Steve, but I believe there's a perception that if somebody's taken their expertise to this level and produced, you know, this fantastic online program, then they must be really good at what they do. Not necessarily so, but it's almost like a branding thing, it's a positioning thing. Yeah, it is, absolutely. You know?
The other question was on brand loyalty.
Yeah.
What's your feelings on that? Are people loyal to brands that do this kind of training, or are they more after the topic, the training itself?
I think two things. I think some people are just looking for the training, you know, they go on and Google it, find something, and it's sorted, and they're very, very happy. But I also think that then is, in a way, the first step in moving them forward down the buying process. You know, you can generally speak, and obviously it depends how much you're going to charge for your program, but I've positioned it in a way that it's pretty much a no-brainer. And so people can buy into me, just spend a little bit of money, hopefully then believe that that was actually really good advice, and then maybe want to upgrade to some one-to-one time, or come on a workshop, or whatever it is.
Let's talk about the construction and how you actually go about. What does the back end of this look like? Is that possible to have a look at, so that if we were going to make our own training course, what are the things that you've got to be aware of? If you're, I know it's interesting, I was at a meeting on Saturday, and the differences in the level of competence and expertise that people have, right down to how they use social media, how they use YouTube, even creating their own websites. I think it's very diverse, and I think people who muck around with websites on an ongoing basis, we're thinking to ourselves, well, that's so simple to do. What's the problem with that? And in fact, there are people out there that are having serious issues even understanding exactly what they're trying to achieve.
Sure.
So is this for the slower thinking, like me?
Yeah. I'd say, you know, I said.
Let's have a look at your page there.
Okay. So I'm here in what is the back end of my site. If I want to upload a new product, I press the button there called New Product. I then call it something. Here in Blue Peter fashion is one I made earlier. So this is the LinkedIn program that I just showed you. So I go in here, I click on that. You can see then all I'm going to do is just upload a sort of banner, a course description. I can go in here and add a category. So if I want to add something, I can just click that button there. That then turns into a section like this, where I can just literally click to, if I click that and then clicked add a video, so I just produce a video and then just simply upload it. I then upload a picture here, I write some words and so on, and then I write a more detailed introduction to the video and what people are going to learn by reading it or listening to it. And then if I want to, I can then add some downloads. So that could be a PowerPoint presentation or a PDF or something like that that I want people to watch. And then I just go to a level where I think, right, okay, yep, I'm really happy with that. I click publish, and that becomes part of the program, and then just simply save. And it, it's if you can use Word, you could use Kajabi. Maybe takes a little bit more than that, and get.
Do you sketch it out before you start?
What do you mean?
Before you start, do you create online,
or
do you create? Do you have a sketchbook somewhere that goes, here's what the course is going to be, here are the topics, or do you use that nearly in the same way that many people use PowerPoint as a thought process?
Yeah, exactly. So if I was going to, let's say, for example, produce a online training program called How to Use Facebook to Grow Your Business, then I'd think, right, what's step one? Introduction. So I'd set up the introduction section. Section 2 is producing a decent business profile, so that would be number 2, and so on and so forth. So yes and no, I wouldn't literally do it on paper, I'd do it in here. I can show you actually.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's have a quick gander once again.
Yeah. So this is my marketing association. So I've sort of gone in here. This is not finished yet. Okay, so you can see here, this is week 3, this is what they get, and this is week 4, and so on. Or if I just go back into this one, this is even more raw. This is pretty much only just set up. So you can see here, we've got a section here called the fundamentals, and this is just called concept 1. What are the fundamentals? Well, I've not done anything on that yet. So as you can see, it just, Kajabi put that little bit of text in there for me to get rid of, and then type whatever it is I'm going to do, upload a video, which has not been done. So if I want to upload a video here, I can just go in there, select the video, and off it goes. It's
the video
really,
itself,
really
then,
easy.
where does that live? Is it playing something from YouTube, or is it playing something from Facebook, or is it storing it, looking after it itself?
It's storing and looking after it itself.
So you've got the security that is behind a firewall or a paywall.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nobody can go and find this content that I've taken 25 years to learn and just go and access it without paying me a little bit of money.
You create your course.
Yeah.
And as always, things move on very quickly in this program. But
Sure.
we create the course. What's the next step?
The next step, once it's done and it's launched and it's live, it's the key to it, and that is the marketing of it. Producing this bit, the bit I've just shown you, is reasonably easy. It's not that difficult. I suppose the difficult bit actually is the bit that you're concerned with, and that is the production of decent or good quality video. That's having the skills in order to look good on camera and to be able to talk professionally and to get your message over. That's a real skill, I think. But actually the technical bit of teaching people how to use Kajabi, or learning yourself how to use Kajabi, is not that difficult. But the next big key is the marketing of it, and that's where the whole thing is either successful or it's not.
Maybe a slightly longer show today, ever so slightly longer, because I want to make certain that we do cover this next section and get it all closed off. Fascinating to hear this today. If you are watching us for the first time, we're here nearly every Monday. I think bank holidays we have off, and the odd holiday here and there. But if you are brand new to us here at Business Connections Live, tell your friends, tell your colleagues. There's over 300 hours of great great marketing advice. By the way, you can download it on iTunes as well, for that matter. And thank you very much to all the people that download the program on a weekly basis. Thousands of you download it on iTunes. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. And if you do download it on iTunes, please do leave a comment, do a recommendation. A 5-star recommendation from you is always helpful, and it's very easy to do that. All you got to do is open up your iTunes account, find the program in there, view the program in iTunes. That's a simple tab within what you're looking at. Then you'll see a ratings and reviews ones. Obviously, you'll see there that you can actually download the program. Click on the ratings and reviews. That's going to allow you to download your own comment, your own review of the show. 5 stars. Steve Mills was very informative. Steve Highland is just getting older and older, and Kajabi looked very interesting. I recommend this to other people. I give it 5 stars. If you do that, then iTunes, in its infinite wisdom, what it will do will recommend the program to other people who are watching alternative business programs that may not be as relevant to them as this one is. A moment's pause. So do that for us, and we'd really appreciate it. You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company today. Steve Mills is my guest today. We are talking about how to create and publish an online training course. We're looking at the platform Kajabi in detail, but we've probably got to the bit that every online course creator probably sometimes negates or forgets or doesn't do, and that's the marketing. Mm-hmm. So how you got your course, how do you market it?
Do you know, you need to market it in many ways. There's no right, this is the way to do it. So you need to use LinkedIn, you need to use Facebook, you need to use Twitter and email and your website and your blog and so on and so forth. But I think one of the things that you should absolutely be doing, probably on all those platforms, is utilising video. What you're selling actually is video-based training. And so if you're selling that, then one of the problems that people have got is that they can't actually they can't access your program until they've paid some money. But how do they know how good it is? Is it the best program in the world, or is it actually pretty useless? Unless there's somebody who knows, likes and trusts you, then they don't know how good it is. So I think one of the keys to this has got to be video. So getting out there, producing videos on an ongoing basis, I think actually should be part of every business's marketing plan. And certainly if you're doing online programs, you can do little snippets of it. You know, we were talking
teasers,
trailers. 2 minutes of this, a tip on this. Here's a little bit of information, and then at the end of that little bit of valuable information, you can easily say, and if you want to know more, go to this website where you can add, you can access my full 27 video training program. And so I'm a massive believer, as you know, in video, Steve. You can be so much more passionate on video than ever you could by writing. You can be enthusiastic. You can be compassionate, and I think that this is the real key to online. It's certainly the area that I think marketing's going. It's going much more video focused. If anybody goes to my website, you'll find that most of the pages, I'd say nearly every page has got a video on. Certainly 80% of the pages have got video on. And, that I believe is the way forward. And it's also a fantastic way of, it's just a demo of what you can do. Go and watch this demo.
The thing about it is, we're surrounded here by thousands and thousands of pounds worth of equipment. It is a proper broadcast studio, but absolutely. You don't need that, do you?
Well, in an ideal world,
it would be nice. I mean, if you want to have something like that, pick up the phone and give us a call.
I recommend it. If you've got the budget and you can do that, then absolutely. Is it better to do it fully professional with a variety of top quality cameras and a team? Yes, that's the best way. But if you can't do that, then some of the technology now, that's available via Apple and people like that, allow people like me to produce decent quality video. It's not top quality video, but decent quality video with hopefully really top quality content on there in order to do that.
One piece of advice, by the way, if you are creating your own video, while you can get away with shaky old pictures sometimes, shoddy old pictures, what you can't get away with, I think, is sound. If you want to make certain that your video is going to be worth watching, get the sound right, you just think for a moment, we put up for years with black and white and 4x5 and small little pictures, but the sound had to be right. If the sound's not right in your video, you're really up against it. You've got to get it right. The microphones we use here, for instance, these are ECM 77s made by Sony. These microphones new are £700 a piece.
Wow.
You know, they're real.
There's got to be a difference.
There's got to be a difference.
You know, if 30 quid thing I download on Amazon.
But even a 30 quid thing will be good enough for a lot of what you're doing. It's when you start using microphones on cameras and they're over the other side and you sound like you're talking in a toilet. Don't do it. Just get some great sound.
Yeah, you got to be at a level. It's got to look professional.
Is there a voice that you use when you're talking on LinkedIn and on Facebook and the other places? What is the voice, the tone of the written word that you use when you are promoting? For instance, on LinkedIn, you've got some contacts that you're saying there. What is it you're saying to them? How do you say it? What is it you say?
What I say, I just try to think of an element of the training. A small part of it. I'll give you an example, it's probably easiest. I could easily do a video called how to set up your personal profile on LinkedIn and to make sure that your headline, which is the job description basically, is as good as possible. So I could do that just a little element of it to make sure your first impression of you is as good as possible. And so it's that type of thing. It's just broken down into lots and lots of freebie little videos that people can listen to. The other day I did one on, I spoke a few moments ago about obscurity. I did a video on obscurity about that's the biggest problem, you know, and so I did a video on that. I heard a guy called Grant Cardone. I don't know whether you know of Grant, but he said something the other day, and he said the difference between getting a contract and having contact is the R, which is relationship, and I really like that. So the difference between contact and contract is just the R.
I can hear that in a presentation coming up.
I mean, it's coming up. I will be doing a video on that in the next couple of days. I really liked it. You know, it's about, you know, and it's true, isn't it? You know, you've got a contact, you've not yet got the contract. You've got to build that relationship. So you've got to work on the R in contract.
What would you say to people that don't like the way they look on camera and the way they sound?
Get on with it. Simply, you know.
Give up.
Just just do it. People say that to me, oh, I don't like to be on, a bit nervous, I'm not sure, you know, should I, just do it. Just do it. It doesn't matter. I'm not great. I just do it. And I really don't, I almost don't care. I'm just myself. I try to be as enthusiastic as I can, and I just do it. You know, I might not be the greatest speaker around, but I just go on and do it. And so, you know, as Nike says, just do it. Just get on with it.
All right then. So, is there any part of this that we've kind of missed out? We've talked about selling and marketing your online products. The production of the video, you said, is important. Do you have a final word, perhaps, maybe, on the selling and the marketing of doing this? Because ultimately what we're all after is to make that money while we sleep, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I say two things. One is don't think, well, I'm not a consultant, I'm not a marketing advisor, so this is not for me. If you've got expertise, something if I was an expert at fly fishing, you know, I could produce my own online program called Fly Fishing for Beginners or Fly Fishing for International, you know, the best anglers in the world, whatever. You know,
can I get that one now?
If I was a golfer, you know, how to putt more effectively or whatever, you know, it really doesn't matter. So it could be if you're an expert in a sport or a hobby or anything. So, you know, I think that's one. And the other one would be, you know, just because you do the program, don't think you're going to make millions, because you're not, probably.
What do you call success? What's success for you? Is it breaking even with the cost of, in this particular case, Kajabi?
As far as this is concerned,
if you break even with the platform, then it's working.
No, but for me, I'd look back on, if I look back on this in 2 or 3 years, I'll be making $500,000 a year. I'd be quite pleased with that. And then when I do retire, I'd continue to make round about that sort of money for the next 10 years, having, you know, basically retire on the beach. I'll be in the Caribbean and I'll check my mobile, and today I'll have got 20 grand come into my business. That would be good.
Final question then. Cool. Final question. There are a lot of people out there that's the clickbait, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's the dream.
Yeah.
What is your measure that says actually this isn't working?
I suppose, you know, it just comes to a point where you know, if it's not working, it's not working. What is the point? The number one thing will be to get to break even. You've got to get to break even as quick as you can. And then I suppose, I'm not sure, Steve. I'm not sure there actually is a point. I mean, if I was only making £1,000 a month, would that be the end of the world? No, not really. I'd be quite happy with that. Spending £100, getting 1,000 in, you know, that'd be okay, wouldn't it? You know. So,
well, there we have it.
You know, I mean, I hope I'm going to go to the, you know, fantastic level. I may or may not do, and the same with everybody on the program today. But you know, if we take action and keep pushing, then hopefully we'll get to that next level.
Well, you know the next bit, don't you? We always ask you for a quick summary, the key takeaways. If you want to find out more about Steve Mills, you can go to his website. It is stevemills.co.uk. Here is the website that you can find him on. All the resources there, the free marketing webinar, results, media, and a whole load more. If you need a speaker, he'll come and he'll speak at your event. If you need a trainer, he'll do that for you. You may find him coming out on Steve Mills, the prudent marketeer, but Steve Mills Associates, isn't it? Is that what you are now?
Yeah.
Okay, a cracking show. I hope we've given you a bit of an insight. I hope we've kind of whetted your appetite when it comes to using one of these platforms. There are others. Kajabi is one, Teachables is another. I would recommend it. Udemy's good. It's big, it's huge. But you've got to do, I think, more work with Udemy as well. And they take more of the cash away from you. And there are loads of platforms out there that do something very similar. But it seems the big one is Kajabi at the moment, isn't it?
In my opinion, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then, you know the normal routine. Straight down camera 4. Ralston is waiting to take your picture. Hope you've enjoyed today's show. Who you are, where you're from.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you. Yeah, so we work with 3 groups of people. People who don't have the time to do their own marketing. So everything we've been talking about today, we can help you with. We can help you by doing this for you. The second thing we do is to train and mentor you. So if you're not yet, you know, in a position where you know and understand all this stuff, then we can work with you on an ongoing basis. And the third way is to train you. So we run workshops, be it online or in our offices in Basingstoke, or we can come to you to run workshops. So if we can help you in any way, we'd obviously love to do so. Thank you ever so much for listening, and thanks again to Steve and the team here for inviting me again onto Business Connections Live. Thank you.
Well, it's always worth having him on the program because he's such good content. And if you want to do any training on LinkedIn as well, obviously there are a number of specialists that are out there. But once again, I've actually been on one of your training courses. Yeah, so they are very, very good indeed. Once again, Steve Mills, thank you very much for joining us today on the show. Cracking show as always. Hope you've enjoyed today's program. It must be time to get back to work. Before you do, let's remind you who's coming up on future programmes. Taz Thornton, inspirational speaker, author and motivator, is going to be on the show. Peter Liner, he's the chairman of ABLE, the Academy for Business Leaders and Entrepreneurs. And a guy that you know, Doug Piddock's going to be coming on the programme. We'll be talking a lot about video today. He's from a company called Intermedia Communication Solutions. They are a web meeting technology organisation or company, and they actually make the cracking little camera that you use to record your videos on.
Yeah, indeed.
And it takes, just give us a brief description, it's 180 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 180-degree camera. Essentially, it's for conferences and larger meetings. So if you're in a meeting with sort of 10 people, we've all been there on video where we're crowding around the laptop trying to actually get in the screen. But this does 180-degree technology, and it's fantastic. And it also does this thing called intelligent zoom, so a little bit like, you know, with Question Time, where it zooms in on somebody, you know, the camera zooms in. It does that, but it does that automatically. So it's quite a clever piece of kit.
We'll have a demonstration of that on the programme when Doug comes in. Also, Rachel Wild from Monochrome is going to be joining us in the near future as well. Listen, I hope you found today's programme inspiring, because, let's face it, get out there, get that training course, get the knowledge on the paper, get the knowledge online, and then sell it. Till we do it all again next week, have a great week. Bye for now. Bye-bye.